Welcome to the Juice Radio Talk Show. 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 Reality TV's church reviews. Let's talk happy love and marriage lifestyle. Come and talk with us. Come and share with us. Come and laugh with us. Come on and pray with us.
Regina Cole is a special guest. You should be following your lead. Bless. Subscribe on YouTube. Listen on podcasts. We live on IG and Facebook. This episode is sponsored by TruthAndTriumph Ministries.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Money Monday. I'm Executive Pastor Tawana Grant, and we are so excited to be back with you today as we continue in our series looking at different strategies as we want to move forward in our businesses, in our entrepreneurship, as we consider even leading in ministry. And we want to appreciate all of you who are joining us. Remember to go to the Juice Radio and Talk Show. Make sure you hit that subscribe bell button so that you can follow us as we come online each and every week. Welcome, little lady, and thank you everyone who's joining us today. We are continuing in our series. Today, we're going to be talking about pace as a strategy. We've talked about positioning as a strategy. We've talked about partnership as a strategy. And today we really want to talk about how you need to pace yourself as a strategy. Listen, burnout is not an option. And so success isn't just about speed. It's also about sustainability of strategy. So you want to make sure that pace isn't procrastination. We're not talking about pacing where we're not doing anything. It's not procrastination. It is power when it is aligned to your purpose. So we want to make sure today, make sure you go ahead and like and share, encourage others to join us today as we talk about pace as a strategy so that you run your race well. When we consider the race, even from scripture, it talks about it's not given to the swift nor the strong, but it's to him that endureth. And so we want to make sure that it doesn't always, it's the strongest person that wins the battle. It's the person who has the best strategy and they execute on it. So we want to encourage you today, even as we talked about last week, positioning as a strategy, what you see is what you understand. So your positioning is so key in our businesses and what we're doing. So this week, as we talk about pace as a strategy, because burnout is not a badge of honor. I want to encourage you. Burning out is not a badge of honor. And rushing does not always mean progress. Just because you're rushing to do things fast doesn't mean that you're going to always make progress. They often say that the fastest way to get something done is slowly, so that you take the opportunity to make sure that you are aware of your opportunities for offensive and defensive moves. That's what we've been talking about, making money moves. And so you want to make sure that you are looking at it from that perspective. I know for me, from a personal sharing, there are times when I have to pace myself and say, slow down in this particular area. Make sure you're giving yourself enough due diligence and enough time to evaluate, to assess, to get data, to make decisions from a posture of understanding and clarity, not just because we have passion. How many know that sometimes we can have a passion for a thing, but it's not the right time? So make sure that in we're looking at pace as a strategy, that we're evaluating and we're doing things in the right timing so we can get the right results. So here, as we talk about divine timing, and we want to talk about how sometimes with divine timing, we're disciplined in those delays. It creates a resilience. It creates an awareness. It builds in us the ability to sustain while we wait, meaning we're still active. We're still moving forward. We're still positive. We're still passionate about our end goal, but we're not impressed to move fast so that we might make some errors. We want to make sure that as we explain how we do speed with agility, speed with strategy, this helps us mitigate misaligned decisions. When we are using pace as a strategy, we won't have misaligned decisions. We won't have missed divine timing. We will have mental and financial burnout. You won't burn out financially because you're taking your time in it. You're assessing. You're making those pivot moves that we need to. We talked about this before. You got to be agile. You have to have agility and dexterity, the ability to maintain even when things are not going well. And so you have to remember this. Pace protects your capacity. So you can't be on all cylinders on everything. Can I use myself an example? I know the Lord has me operating in the marketplace. I'm operating in ministry. I'm operating in a lot of lanes as far as educational services. I'm operating in travel and our own entrepreneurship. So I have a variety of channels, a variety of streams that are operating and are moving forward. Now, I can't take my limited capacity and operate at 100 in all of them. I would definitely be in burnout, both physically, mentally, and spiritually. So what we have to do is use pace as a way to protect your capacity. You have to protect your yes. We've said that before. Protect your yes. I know some of us have difficulty in saying no. We don't want to offend anyone. We don't want to let anybody down. We don't want to not meet their expectation, but you have to protect you. You are the greatest asset to your business. And so with that, your yes has a cost. Your yes always comes with a cost to it. And so protect your yes. So when you say yes, you've automatically said no to other things, and be okay with the fact that you've said no to them. So that's why when you protect your yes, you're saying yes to the thing that brings you the greatest return on your investment, the greatest return on your time, the greatest return on your mental capacity, the greatest return on your strength, the greatest return on your wisdom should be the thing, the greatest return on your purpose, the greatest return on your assignment should be where we're saying yes to. We should not be saying yes in a lot of areas that are not promoting us in the spaces where we are graced to grow. We are graced to grow. We don't want our pace to be so heavy that we start to be in the grind and not operate in our grace. Many of us are graced to do multiple things. We have that capacity. And where there is structure, you increase your capacity. You cannot grow what does not have structure. It's very difficult. And so protect your yes. Fast growth without structure will crush a business or ministry. If you don't have structure, if you don't have understanding, if you don't have clarity, if you don't have processes, you don't have procedures, it will crush it. It will cause too much pressure on it. For an example, hiring too fast and expanding too early, launching without capacity equals chaos. When you hire too fast, when you move too quickly, when you don't have things in place, process, procedures, understanding the organization, understanding the mission and vision, and having that clarified throughout the organization, then often it will create chaos. So some of the things you want to do before you do that is perform a quarterly capacity check. Look at your team. Look at your time. Look at your tools. Look at your capital. What do I have available to operate with? And you operate from that capacity. So again, not in all your lanes can you be operating on 100 cylinders. And certainly not if you don't have the right approach or the right people helping you. In several lanes, there's some things in my purview that in my portfolio that I don't even touch. Others are operating. Others are moving it forward. Others are advancing it. And I am there as a guide, as a healthy border so that I can help create boundaries and support and strength and wisdom to keep it moving forward. But I'm not the hands to the plow every day. And so that's what I'm saying. You have to make sure that you are structuring your business in such a way that you have capacity to do what is needed and necessary and can be only done through you. There's something that you as the leader, you as the manager, you have to be able to want to have the final voice and make the decision. But you have to be able to make decisions based on data. We want to make decisions based on information. And so you glean the information from your team and from various sources that are trustworthy so that you have integrity in the data so that you can make a wise decision. So again, you want to make sure that your yes has a cost. And so when you do say yes, if you're like me, I want to operate in integrity. I want to operate at high level of excellence. So when I say yes, I'm in. I want to make sure I'm giving my best and I'm giving the time that's necessary. Or I go back and re-level set on expectations. Please don't forget that. I learned that over time. How that what I intended to do in the beginning was really my intention, but now due to my capacity, now due to responsibility and requirements, things that take more priority than what I originally committed to, now I have to go back and set expectations. I have to re-level set. Here's where I am now. Here's my commitment level now. Here's what I can give in the strength or the energy or the support that I can give to it now. While I am still yet 100% on board, I'm 100% a partner. I'm loyal to where we're going and what we want to do. Here's my capacity level, though. in support of it. And so again, you want to make sure that you're doing that as you perform these checks. I even say for me, even personally, for me, I have a 90-day and I need to tap out. I need to take a vacation. I need to take a respite. Rest is a strategy. I need to rest my mind. I need to rest my body. I need to refuel. I need to re-engage. I need to renew. I need to revive. And so when you do that, it gives you an opportunity to release some of the responsibilities and accountabilities that you have, and then allow you to refresh and renew so that you can come back even better. You don't want to operate from an empty cup. You don't want to operate from less than your optimum. We all know that. We all have an optimum level where we are on all cylinders and we are performing at our best. And so the way to do that is to protect your yes, so that you can always show up well, that you choose how you show up. And because you have the power to do that, you have the power to also make sure that you're giving your yes in the right places. And therefore, it means that you have to say no to other things. So we want to make sure that we're doing that. Pace prevents premature exposure. So again, this is so good. Pace, when you are pacing, when you have the strategy of pace, you recognize that it will prevent you from having premature exposure. Not every opportunity is for now. Listen to this. You need to write that down, because sometimes we think an opportunity come up and we just got to run. No, not every opportunity is for now. I have a laundry list of things that I would like to do, or things that people have even asked of me, and I feel honored. I feel that it is such a great honor that I would even see that in me and would like to have me as a mentor, or a guide, or a strength, or to help, to come in and support. But there's also timing for everything. And you have to be able to make sure that you're keeping your purpose and mission in the forefront. And then you're adding those things as timing permits, or you're settling on a good timing when that would be a better fit, so that not every opportunity is for right now. So when you understand who you are, how you're operating, where you're going, you're okay. Sometimes we get in such anxiety and we get in such a hurry that we feel like we're going to miss something, that I'm going to have a missed opportunity. That's why we need the spirit of discernment, so you can know, is this a now or a later objective? Does this fit in alignment with the time and the season that I'm currently operating in? Or is it time for a shift? And those are the kinds of things that you need to be aware of, because in business, premature scaling leads to customer dissatisfaction. Because in business, you can expand greatly, which is great. You can start to reach more people. But if you're not able to meet the demand successfully, if you're not able to meet the demand with quality, if you're not able to meet the demand with the right customer service and mindset, then it will lead to customer dissatisfaction, because you're unable to meet the obligation to which they have assigned for, what they've signed up for, what they've committed to, and what you said you can do. Because you scaled too quickly, you're unable to meet it at that level of quality or that level of timeline. So even in ministry, premature platforms lead to spiritual compromise. Sometimes we can put things in place and we're not ready for it yet. We don't have the spiritual maturity to be able to handle that level. We don't have the organization in such a way that it can move efficiently and effectively without one or two bearing all the burden. And so again, we have to reconsider pace it so that it can happen well, so that when you do move out, when you do shift in the new lane, you're presented in a sense of excellence and from your best capability. So here, you want to make sure that whatever you're doing it from a complete understanding. And you're doing it from a posture that I have done my due diligence, I have done the necessary planning, the necessary strategizing, and now we're ready to execute because everything is in place. And so that helps you, again, when you're pacing, you know where you are, you know where there are areas of gaps, you know where there's opportunities, you know where there's risk, and you can evaluate. There are times when you move out and you don't have everything 100%, but you can evaluate the risk. Here's the give and take. That give and take may be very small. And so because you are going to give a give and take on something that's very small, you're like, okay, that won't risk my reputation, or that won't risk what we've identified we will give and we will serve and we will provide as part of our business profile. And so it won't damage your brand and it won't hinder your progress. So there's some risks that are risk acceptable. And then there's some risks when you evaluate it, you're like, no, that would be damaging to my brand. I'd rather wait 2 months and come out come out strengthened, come out with a better approach and the best marketing plan and the best execution than to rush and do it. Again, pacing as a strategy to make sure you don't allow yourself to come into a position where you have overcommitted and underdelivered. You don't want to overcommit and underdeliver. And so pacing will help you prevent premature exposure. So it even talks about that in scripture. You have to count up the cost. What is this going to cost me by moving forward at this particular time? So next, pace positions you for longevity. When you pace yourself, it positions you for sustainability because you're not doing something knee-jerk is what they say. You're not doing something out of a sense of anxiety or out of a sense of urgency. You're doing it because that's what I plan to do. You're moving forward because it positions you for sustainability. Anyone can go viral, but can you go viable? Can you remain viable over a period of time? Can you be sustainable? Can your brand hold up to the change in seasons, the change in client needs, the change in how things are being approached today? Will you be able to navigate and shift and pivot as the desires of your client base changes? So pace ensures you build systems, cultures, and financial stability for a long-term success. This is what we want to do when we're building our business, when we're thinking about where we're going, when we're building our ministry, when we're talking about entrepreneurship and we're launching out. We want to build it in such a way that we have the right foundation, we have the right platforms, we have sustainability with our systems and with our culture within our business or in our ministry, and we have financial stability for the long-term success. So sometimes that's why we'll see business, they open up and then they shutter in just a few months. Sometimes there's a multiplicity of reasons why, but often there's a lack of planning, a lack of financial stability, or a lack of understanding of what it would take in order to have a return on your investment, because it depends on your line of business. Some businesses, because they're in such high demand, there's a very quick return. Once you open up, there's a very quick energy of client base that continues to grow. And there are other businesses, just by its nature, its field, that it may take a period of time in order to build up your client base and build up a financial return, and so much that you may be in your operating expenses for a period of time. And so you have to prepare for that. You have to prepare. So pace ensures that you build systems, cultures, and financial stability for the long-term success, not just short-term. How do I stand in stability? How do I retain my business until we are solvent, until it's able to take care of itself? For example, slow and steady brands are ministries that grew strong over time. Slow and steady. Sometimes you'll see ones that grew up overnight, but they didn't last long. The brand was really quick. It was something good. It lasted for a minute, but it didn't have the right foundation. It didn't have the right structure. It didn't have the right management. It didn't have the right understanding or clarity so that it could help remain. We want to look at our business and use pace as a strategy. We want to grow in our grace, not on the grind. And so when we go through the grace part of it, that there's some practical things that we pick up. So that as we thrive in it, we can do a weekly pace audit. Am I moving forward well? Am I rushing through reviews? Am I rushing through? Recently, a few years ago, they had that incident with the submarine that went underwater, and unfortunately, it lost life with that. And some of the things that came back is that they rushed too quickly to get it to the forefront. They rushed too quickly to use it. Without doing the necessary testing, without doing the additional proofing, without doing the initial analysis and results and review. There's an iterative process that happens, and sometimes we cannot negate the process. Sometimes we want to get somewhere quickly, but we don't have the stability to be able to retain it. We want to have the resilience that's necessary, the wisdom. There's some wisdom. Oh my goodness. There is some wisdom that is going to come about through the iterative process of change in our pace as we go through the whole process of growing, that you will learn in growth patterns that you'll never learn through immediate success. And so that's why we need to say, are we rushing through the things that need to be reviewed? Remind yourself, am I pushing things out so fast in my desire to get to my ultimate goal that I'm missing the need to review and to slow down? These are just some questions that you might want to ask yourself. Where do I need to slow down so that I can scale up? Where do I need to slow the pace down so that I can continue to build the right stability, build the right skill levels, build the right talent, build the right connections, build the right partnerships, build the right financial stability so that as it grows, I have what I need to continue to produce and produce. And then why or what is pressuring me to be in such a hurry? Oh my goodness, that's a good evaluation. Sometimes we have to ask ourselves, why am I in such a hurry? Why am I pushing on this? Why is it such a pressure to do this? Why? Why am I so pressed to do this? Is it because I want to put something out that will last for a long time? Or am I trying to glean credit? Am I trying to put myself out there forward? Because when we push and we press in something that is out of timing, it matures. It is immature. It is not ready. What do they say? It's not ready for prime time. You want to wait so that it evolves and it naturally grows to the context that it supports itself. I remember this when we were watching them build a whole new subdivision. And for many months, all we saw was they were just moving dirt. It looked like to me from one side to the other side, just moving dirt, just one side from one side. But as I learned what they were doing, they were settling the foundation. They were getting the foundation strong. Why? Because it was going to have to hold something heavy. What God is doing in your life, in your ministry, in your business, in your entrepreneurship, even in your vision and dreams, what he's doing is he's building the foundation. He's getting us ready. He's getting us solidified so that when we're ready for prime time, when we're ready for the vision, not to tear, but for it to come to pass, we are ready mentally, spiritually, financially, with your resources, with your team. You're ready to move it forward. And so that's why you have to remind yourself, be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. We want to slow down. We don't want to be anxious for anything. We want to make sure that we're watchful, we're prayerful, we're knowledgeable, and so that we use our process time to our advantage. I want to encourage you today. Use the process to your advantage. Like I said, I have several things that I know is going to come. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I know it will. And so while I'm waiting, I'm going to be joyous in the wait. I'm going to tool myself. I'm going to train myself. I'm going to teach myself. I'm going to lean into others. Lean in and lean forward. I'm going to lean into information. I'm going to lean into training. I'm going to lean into opportunities of growth, opportunities that lead me forward to where I'm going, so that when the time is right, the Lord can do it and I'm ready. So when the time is right, it will be a benefit. What do they often say? Success is when preparation meets opportunity. So we're in our preparation time. So let pace be a strategy for you to grow your business. Let pacing. Don't let anybody else rush you on their timetable. Yes. Listen, I want to reaffirm to you today. You're not behind. You're in the process. Write that down. You're not behind. You're in the process. And I've had so many people that I've counseled and mentored, and sometimes they say, I feel like I'm starting over. Know this, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. Every time you iterate, think about the people who have been great scientists, great mathematicians, others who have had great inventions. They had an iteration process that they had to go through. And they weren't starting over from scratch. Every time the first one didn't work, they learned something from it. They learn something. They learn what to do and what not to do. They learn what to try this time and what not to do for the next time. So there's an iterative process. You're not behind. You're in the process. And this is what's going to take you to your expected end. This is what's going to help you to learn to walk in grace and not in grind. We don't want to keep grinding out. No, walk in grace. When you walk in grace, that means you know how to step away. You know how to take respite. You know how to reevaluate. You know how to take constructive feedback. You know how to self-reflect. You know how to recognize areas in your life where you need improvement or areas where you need to shift the levers. That's what we're talking about. You can't be on all cylinders and everything. You have to learn where is it that I need to operate from a different shift level on this. Maybe I need to give this 30 just to keep it moving forward. And I need to give more 60 over here so that I make sure that strategically it is going in the right direction, so that everything is going in the right direction forward, so that everything is advancing, and so that we have that right mindset, because we don't want to walk and grind. We want to let strategy, not stress, lead. Oh my goodness, write that down. We want to let strategy, not stress, lead. So we don't want to walk in grind. We want to walk in grace, not the grind, because we want to let our strategy, not our stress, lead us. So we want to encourage you today that there's opportunity for all of us to make sure that we pace ourselves as a strategy. We want to encourage you to, again, to continue to watch us on the Juice Radio and Talk Show here on YouTube, on our other media platforms. Make sure you go on there, subscribe, hit that subscribe button, like and share. If you're watching us via Facebook Live, make sure you go ahead and like and share so that others can receive this information. We want to continue our practice of putting what we hear in activation. We want to make sure that we practice pacing this week so that we're not stressed out, but that we're walking in grace, and that we're giving ourselves an opportunity to grow in our process so that we don't lead from stress, but we lead from strategy. Listen, join us next week. We want to encourage you, join us next week, because we're going to talk about process as a strategy. Peace and blessings to you today from Executive Pastor Grant. God bless you.